Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be reviewing the Kansept Knives Apollo. I thought this was a stunning looking knife, and this is a great EDC size. This is it Gendre? I'm not going to butcher it, but I follow him on TikTok. He's got so many different knives that he's designed. I don't think they're all out, but beautiful work. This one comes in at 7.38 inches overall. It has a 3.11 inch drop point blade of S35VN. This one has a black wash finish. You can get it without a coated blade as well. You don't have any jimping up top. However, you have this little thumb scoop right there that feels nice, feels locked in. You got a versatile low tip drop point here. If I want to use that tip, I can rather easily, or you could use the belly, whatever you want to do. If you go to pierce into a bag of potato chips, it's going to be in that direct straight line. You got a top swedge for some flare, and you have a fairly thin tip there. It's going to be great for piercing, and it's got enough meat behind it to where if you need to do a little twisting and turning, you should be fine. You have dual thumb studs that stay out of the cutting path. As you can see there is his designer's mark right there. I like it. It's like a crest, it looks like. You got a pretty good sharpening choil there. It looks like, let me see, it looks like you should be able to sharpen to about right there my fingernail is before to widen up. I haven't sharpened it, so I couldn't tell you that for certain, but that's where it looks like the plunge grind comes to thicken up a little bit on it. Your blade stock thickness is coming in at 0.12 inches. You got a flat grind that they still managed to get down to around 16 thousandths behind the edge. So as long as this one came sharp, it should be a slice machine. Let's find out. This knife came with a really good edge out of box, slicing really well. Feels like it has pretty good edge geometry. I'll probably have to check it after this, but yeah, nice and slicey. That's all I can really ask for. And I think it's going to be a fairly versatile blade. You know, the tip's just a little bit above the center line, it looks like. So, you know, you can still use it. You shouldn't have to go up too high. And like I said, as long as it continues to cut like this, yeah, I'll be happy. I wasn't sure about the ergos because there's a couple of little like high spots on the back portion of the scales, but the way it's set up, for my medium-sized hands at least, I'm locked in. I'm able to get a good bit of force into the wood. It's pretty darn comfortable. The pocket clip's not bothering me at all, and yeah, so far so good. Now get into the 1/2 inch sisal rope, and you know, this is where that extra belly is going to really shine because, you know, anytime you have the higher belly, cutting on a flat cutting surface is a lot easier. You can do all the things. You don't have to lift it up on anything. You got a lot more contact area onto the flat cutting surface because of the belly, and especially doing like slicing motion cuts. And it's slicing very well. It doesn't feel like it's falling off any, and you know, I've had really good experiences so far with Kansept. You know, they do a decent job. I haven't noticed any of my edges just falling off out of the blue or anything, and I don't mind S35 at all either. You know, they do a good job with it, and it performs better than the budget steels. You know, that's what you're looking for. They're all gonna get dull at some point, and you know, after you test a bunch of knives, you'll realize that there's not a huge difference unless it's like a 15V or K390. There's not a huge difference in between some of these steels to where you'd probably even notice the difference. Especially when a lot of the companies are heat treating them from like 58 to 60 or 59 to 60 or whatever. They're usually, you know, whenever they're doing it in a mass production setting, they're usually hitting the same, you know, heat treat spots for the most part. But this one did great, never slowed down all the way. That's all I can really ask for, and it felt comfortable while doing so. Okay, this one performed really good in my opinion. It was comfortable. Let's talk about the deployment in action. So this is a thumb-studded knife. Nice, comfortable thumb studs there, grippy enough, snappy action, And once you release your crossbar lock, it's a drop shut action. It's riding on cage-tronic bearings, giving it that nice glassy smooth action and that nice snappy action. This is an adjustable crossbar lock, so if you want to increase the tension on the detent so it sucks it in harder or has a stronger positive flip to it, you could increase the tension, or if it's too strong, you can decrease the tension. This one has 3 tension settings in there, and I always like to see that. I think it's nice to be able to adjust it to your liking. But personally, the one that it's set to out of the box, I think it's perfect in my opinion. You can easily reverse flick this one. You can slow roll it. Can you pinch it? You could pinch it, but it's not the easiest because you don't have a whole lot to grab a hold to. You can also use that crossbar to release it. Yeah, nice action no matter which one you use. Now you can easily deploy this one left-handed, no problem. However, this knife is tip up right-hand carry only, unfortunately for my lefties. I'm sure that was a decision from the designer himself. Now let's talk about the ergos real quick. So I was kind of worried because I saw these extra humps right there, but you don't really feel that during use. Now it's not a huge handle, especially since you have this larger choil right there that kind of pushes you back some. My medium-sized hands, I just get a 4-finger grip on it. So if you had large, extra large hands, this one might be a little small for you. And then you do have somewhat of a flat spot there that if you wanted to creep up, you could. And it's not bad. You know, if I want to make sure I get right down to that edge so I can control it a little better, I could definitely do that. But back here is probably the most comfortable, at least for me it is. And this grip, it's okay. It's not the most comfortable because you feel this kind of sticking into this portion. It's not terrible or anything. If I need to make a quick cut or a quick pull cut in that direction, I could do it. And in the reverse grip, it's okay as well because this kind of sticks up high so you can kind of wrap your fingers around that. Now it does lock you into place, plus you have this higher guard right there. You could get a good positive stab into some wood without feeling like you're going to slide onto that blade's edge. Now let's close it up and take a look at the scales. So this one has black washed titanium scales with this beautiful Arctic Storm fat carbon inlay on both sides. And talk about a seamless construction there. Kansept did a great job of keeping a nice tight fitment of that with that inlay into the titanium right there. No huge gaps anywhere. And mine doesn't have any crazy high spots. They do have like a small bevel going around there, so you don't have any sharp areas or anything, but I think they did a good job. It looks nice, and as long as there's no huge gaps or anything, I think they did a great job. You also have a chamfer going all the way around, so you don't have any sharp areas. And if you see how at the very line right there that the coating kind of knocked off, that's because they knocked that hard edge off. So there's no sharp areas where you don't want them to be. And look how thick those slabs of tie are. Your milled tie pocket clip goes with the lines of the back side of this knife right here. And it goes in and out of the pocket nicely. It is riding on smooth carbon fiber. However, there's enough tension there to where it doesn't feel loose or anything in the pocket. And being that it's curved, it kind of sits at a cant into the pocket, so it's snug up against the side of your pocket. And I'm guessing that's why they did not make it lefty friendly, because they would have had to offer a second titanium clip, and it's already blind screwed, meaning they're screwing it from the inside. So I guess that's why. If you open it up, you can see you have flow through construction, 2 standoffs in the back right here. And then you have all the tie milled out for these inlays of carbon fiber. No internal milling, but I don't think it's really necessary here. Bringing the weight to 103 grams or 3.64 ounces. I think that's perfectly acceptable. And your balance point is absolute perfection. So it's going to feel lighter than that in hand, being that it's not going to be butt heavy or blade heavy. All your hardware is Torx T8, and that is always awesome to see when it comes to Kansept, because up until recently, we didn't see any T8 body screws. It was all T6. Not only do you have T8 body screws, but you even have a T8 inlay screw as well. That's awesome. Your blade centering is perfect down the middle. Like I said, this is a crossbar lock, and your lockup, It's a bank vault, no up and down, no side to side, super tight lockup. Exactly what you want to see while still being ridiculously smooth once you remove that tension off the lock bar. Quick size comparison. As you can see, it's a good bit smaller than the Ontario Rat 1. It's much more similar to the Rat 2, even though it's a little bit longer. And it's just a hair shorter than the Kansept Daco, and it's just a little longer than the Kansept Vivid. And lastly, it's just a hair shorter than the Benchmade Bugout, and it's a hair longer than the Spyderco Power 3. Now, being that absolutely no knife's perfect, what are my nitpicks and complaints? The only thing I could really be nitpicky about is there's no lefty love. Other than that, it's a very well-made knife. It's got beautiful action. I think it's a good-looking knife. It was comfortable. And overall, I've been just really impressed with Kansept's progression over the last year and a half or so. They keep getting better and better and better. This particular variation comes in at $200. I don't think that's too far out of line. You got a collaboration. You got these nice large inlays of fat carbon, if that's your thing. And if this one isn't your thing, you know that Kansept always have several different versions to choose from. They range anywhere from $170 for the cheapest, and then you can go all the way up to $300. That one has some Damascus parts to it, I think. And yeah, there you go. So if this one interests you and you want to help support the channel, you can use my links that will be down below in the description. If not, no sweat at all. If you have any particular questions about this one, feel free to let me know down below and I'll do my best to get back with you. I hope every single one of y'all is having a fantastic day today. And remember, keep these blades sharp, smile more. Peace!